Welcome back to Nick Lenz's Comic Corner, Classic Class Non-Classics. This is episode number 3049, Doubleshot 2943. Okay, first we're discussing Showcase Presents Green Lantern Volume 4, which contains issues 60 through 75 of Green Lantern. Pretty much in the way, this is basically this book's exit out of the 1960s. Kind of the way, yes it is. So, in these issues, basically, this also kind of the end of basically Hal's time with that insurance agency he started working for back in issue 50. Yeah. Yeah, they kind of wrap up that era, which didn't last very long, surprisingly. Also, his girlfriend stopped her in the book by issue 68. Yeah, but he just leaves the town he was in. So, in this opening issue, he faced up a guy called Lamplighter. Yes, a guy called Lamplighter, which, when I saw this guy, wait, what the heck is Tex? What was a terrible twist doing here? No, he is just a Green Lantern villain who appears in this one issue in particular. Here's the weird thing. No one sees this guy again. He pops up in Green Lantern Quarterly in the 90s. That's the next time we see this guy. Mr. Lawford, who is Hal's boss, his new boss. Yeah, he basically about 68, he's pretty much done. Yeah, after like appearing in 60 and 62, he appears one more time in 68. Oh, in the town Evergreen City, which had been the setting of the book is issue 50 of the book. Well, 53 actually. Yeah. By 69, it stopped becoming a regular feature in the book. Yeah, I've been a regular feature book since issue 53. It's not around very long. No, not really. Also, sadly put in the case of these issues, we do see the last time that he would team up with Alan Scott. By the way, the issue fights Lamplighter, written by Gardner Fox. I guess DC Protocol stops there. And then 61 features the last time he has teamed up with Alan Scott, to take on a guy called Captain Challenge, who was a one-shot villain. And I believe, if I remember correctly, I think this was definitely the last time in Volume 2 he ever met up with Hal Jordan. Yeah, I think this was the last time because he never appeared when the issues that come after this, which is the classic Denny O'Neil, Neil Adams era, like hard traveling hero stuff. Yeah, he was virtually written out of the book at that point. He, like, yeah, after his little team-ups he had with the character. Okay, so he did make one appearance in issue 76. 78, yeah, I think this was a backup feature. I think, just a flashback, but let's see, 86. Let's see, 86 was a backup feature. Actually, was a reprint. 88 was a reprint. 89 reprint. He does make return issue 108. That's when he finally returns the book. What's this a reprint too? Oh no, this was a new story. So, yeah, this was the last time we seen the book into issue 108 because all the rest appearances are reprints or flashbacks. And this is by Mike Frederick. Yeah, and the way I've noticed the artwork for these issues, yeah, this is like very late Silver Age for Green Lantern. And it feels like early steps we see for artwork for the Bronze Age. 62 mostly put just him deal with gangsters. Oh, by the way, Deve Dormus, she basically who's been Hal's girlfriend in this run of books. Yeah, this is kind of weird for her. She debuted in 58, not seeing again until 62. Then she was in 64, 65, and 68. And then we don't see her again until Grand Accord 206. Yeah. about Gardner Fox by writing this issue. My guess is I think DC was planning on taking the book in different directions, so I guess they probably figured that, oh, by the way, we had a return of the Hal Jordan's family, his brother's family. Now, this issue in particular, 63, it's just a weird issue for one shot long. This was the first issue of the book written by Denny O'Neil, and the cover art for this issue is done by Neil Adams. Yep. So yeah, the first time, you have Jack Sperling doing the artwork for this one. For 64, this mostly put as another fight with Hector Hammond. First time in a while that he actually had appeared in the book, because I don't think he appeared in the book for quite a while before this. Last time appeared in the book, well, it was 34? Yeah, it was 34. And that was back in 1965. This was issue 64, mind you. And that was 4 years later. And we don't see him again until issue 101. Yes, that is the next time we see the guy. Which, that was 10 years later. Oh my gosh. Yeah, 10 years between appearances. Yep. I guess I figured, oh, why not? Let's have basically another fight with Hector Hammond. I love the artwork Dry Up and Die. I like that too. Gardner Fox. And of course, you have fight with classic Green Lantern villain, Dr. Polaris. Yep. Now, those might be asking, has it been a while since last appearance? He last appeared in issue 59. After this, he's in the book in issue 133, which that came out in 1980. And that was how long after this? 12 years later. Yep. With 6, mind you, we have John Broome issue. This is an issue where Hal goes featured because apparently he has third identity as a Solar director, and the feature was taken over by these aliens. He has to basically take back control. It's like, okay, finish his job there, go back to the past. Now, this is like a one-off story here. Yeah, this is something that first appeared in issue number 8. And after this issue, the last issue was 51. We don't see it again to issue 136. That is next time we see this city, which came out in 1980, roughly 30 years later. And after that, it would be a couple issues of Green Lantern Corps, Super Team Family, 80 Page Giant, 0 Hour Time. It actually returned very recently in the Fate of Superman World's Finest in a 3-parter. Yes, they brought back this city. This was the first post-Flashpoint appearance of the city. But yeah, this is a really fun issue, 66. 67. This was another issue. This is by Gardner Fox. He has backup story out. The artwork is different now. The opening story is done by Dick Dillon. The backup story by Sad Green. 67 is feature one of those something you would think of basically later on with the Tales of Green Lantern Corps stuff. This is Tales of the Power Ring, the first Green Lantern. The first appearance of Rory Dagg. Yeah, somebody who just joined the Green Lantern Corps in this very issue, who will not be seen again until Tales of Green Lantern Corps number 1, and then she appeared in the issue Green Lantern Quarterly. Then she also been really in Lantern 1, but she sadly got killed off in a Secret Follows and Origins issue. I think she was the first Green Lantern, and they kind of recruited her in this very issue. That's what the backup story was. Yeah, Green Lantern versus a guy called Bill Biggett, a guy who stole the Green Lantern ring, and he actually returned after this. He's not a one-shot villain. Oh no, this was a return for the character. First time since issue 18. Yes, issue 18 of the book, which was back in 1963. This was roughly 5 years late, actually 6 years later. He would make his one last appearance in 1978, roughly 9 years later. Kind of an odd issue, this one. And the 60, I believe this one is another Denny O'Neil issue. It is. With Gil Kane in the artwork. This one mostly basically is the goodbye to the status quo of him being in Evergreen City. Yeah, he leaves City once again. He leaves town, and the next issue, it's like, oh, we have a new possible love interest. No, Carol returns the book. Yes, Carol Ferrer returned the book. First time she's been seen since issue 69, since issue 49. That was the last time she was seen in the book. And this is a return of the book, and it's like the whole thing about being robots per se. Also, he runs into his old friend Pieface in a later issue. Yeah. Then we have 70, which is a really bizarre issue. These fight some aliens on from another planet per se. You have John Broome doing the writing, Gail Kane Network. 71. This one is another John Broome story. The opening story is done by Gail Kane. Backup story by Dick Dillon. The opening story has the first appearance of Olivia Reynolds, who is a woman who is whole thing with toys with her. And here's the weird thing about this woman. This woman at one point basically was obsessed with Hal Jordan for a brief period of time. Yes, this is actually one of 2 appearances she ever made in the frickin' 60s. Like, she appeared in 71, returned in 75, while appearing in issue Flash 191 as a supporting character. After that, that was back in like 1969, I think it was, and 75, which came out in March of 70. So she wasn't seen again until 22 years later, where she popped up in Joe Jones' run for Green Lantern. Up into issue 37. She also kissed her in Justice League America for a few issues. Or Justice League America. Now, if you're curious, what was her last ever appearance in comics? Was it Justice League America 113? Let's see, April 96. This came out in August. Let's see. I'm thinking her last appearance was actually just like America 113. That was her last appearance. Yes. Oh yeah, and the thing with Olivia, she's bisexual because she dated a woman named Ice Maiden who was supposed to replace him for Ice, who previously died. Yeah, at one point she did join Just International. Yeah, the whole thing, basically, they go to Florida are a toy deal, which doesn't really go anywhere. And then we have backup story featuring Hal's family. We have the first appearance of Hip Jordan, who was a cousin of Hal's. The whole thing, the backup is all about Hal's family. Now, 72 is a very interesting issue because of the cover's logo, where it has Green Lantern. This is something they were used also for 74, and then became a permanent logo for the book, starting with issue number 76. Yeah. That's the big thing about 72, is the debut of this logo. Let me show up the logo here for this one. Yeah, those of you ever seen the logo for Green Lantern 76, it's this very logo right here. Yeah. This cover here was the first time we use it. But the very next issue, they go back to the previous logo, and they bring back to 74, and then it's brought back for 76 as the permanent logo. Yeah, I'm not sure why. And Daniel writes this one. Yep. It's Family Opera Style story. For 73, this is where Hal reunites with Tom, who... he had previously written a book, basically, as someone who had written a letter to Hal. Apparently, it's mentioned in the book that he had retired from Ferris Aircraft after Hal left the company, so he started a series of gas stations. Yes. Now, prior to appearing in this very issue, he last appeared in issue 53. That was last time anybody saw him. He's back here for a couple issues, and then he's back very sporadically. He comes back full time, I would say, with issue 124. Yeah, and the whole thing is bringing back Carol Ferris. It's almost like basically they have more plans by Mike Rodriguez's issue. It's almost like they have plans to to abandon the status quo they were doing before and just bring back more of like classic. Because Carol becomes Star Sapphire again and Sinestro returns again. And we also first appearance of Keith Cameron, who is Pieface. Well, that's Tom's son. Pieface nowadays might be a bit of a racist name for him, but it's a name basically that Hal called him, and apparently the way it's written in the book is that apparently Emma calls Mr. Kimetsu, but Hal's probably the one who calls him Pieface. Yes, he's an Eskimo. Yep. So yeah, and then 75, our last issue to discuss here, which has a return to this logo. I thought 74 was return to this logo. Yeah, 74, and then 75 brought this logo back in with John Broome in the artwork writing here, artwork by Gil Kane. Yeah, this issue here like will be the last time we see Olivia Arons to, well, Relance of Life in 29 and basically do Weaponers Accord. Yeah, they're back here for an issue. We have one of them, Kerman, who last appeared in book issue 4. We're not proceeding it into issue 38 of Green Lantern. The Weaponers Accord, which I believe these guys were responsible for creating the Sinestro Power Rings. Yes. Now, of course, part of this issue, they had not been seen since issue 18. We'll be seeing it again to issue 125. Oh yeah, and by the way, Olivia issue also, it's like, it's kind of weird though, the fact that they have this new character who is sort of introduced as a semi-love interest for Hal, and then she's like dropped because we gotta bring in Danny O'Neill and Neil Adams for the new status quo for the book, which is basically add a bit of social commentary, which is something that the book became famous for. By the way, I give these issues roughly 9 out of 10, but this is something interesting though. I had heard on Chuck Dixon's podcast of why this book ended originally issue 89. Why the book end? Apparently the book wasn't selling too well, and people were quizzed, what is our best-selling comic? And they guessed Green Lantern. And like, you're wrong, because Green Lantern's going to cancel. Our highest selling book is Jonah Hex. Yeah, I'm not kidding about that. Because some people, this book, it was very popular with a lot of people. This is according to Chuck Dixon. It just wasn't a big seller. That was the problem with the Danny and Neil Adams run, is that it wasn't a big seller. But thanks to that run, we got a chance to introduce John Stewart. And the infamous issue where we outed Roy Harper as a heroin addict. But in the case issues, it's kind of an end of a weird era for Hal. It's like, oh, let's have him go back, let's have him leave town for a couple years, and then come back because maybe they had a new idea what they will status quo, like maybe they was planning to do more here. But like, nope, let's just have him go on the road for a year. But this also is the end of the Silver Age era for the Green Lantern book, despite the fact the book doesn't feel like Silver Age at this point. Not really, no. Yeah, it does not feel that way at all. You read these issues, you look at the artwork, and it's like, it does not feel like Silver Age, though. It feels like early Bronze Age artwork. But with that, basically, the next time I discuss this book would actually be not a showcase book. Yes. I would actually move on to a different issue of Green Lantern. I'm going to trade issue 105 next time I come back to this book. Yep, that's pretty much what happened there. Alright. Next up we have is... Oops. No. Thank you. Next up we have is... DC Comics Presents number... we're doing 88 to 97, which is the last 10 issues of the series. Yes, there was the series of one-shots called DC Comics Presents, but nothing that was titled at all, so I'll be done with this book. Yeah. Now, most of a lot of these mini issues are written by either, like, Bob Rushkins, but a lot of them written by Paul Kupperberg. He writes a lot of these issues. So in issue number 88, Superman teams up with the Creeper. And this is your creative team for the book. Okay, so you have Steve Engelhart as the writer, you have Keith Gibbons the artist, and you have Carl Kitzler as the inker. Yes, this is most a weirdly designed Superman because it's Keith Giffen doing the artwork. I prefer him usually on, like, it's a very weird issue because of all was the Creeper, and he just feels like a standard thing. It's just a very weird issue. That's the best way to describe it. It's just weird. For issue 89, he teams up with the Omega Men. You might think, Omega Men, does Marv Wolfman write this issue? And the answer is, no, it does not. This book is written by Bob Rushkins and Todd Kleen, art by Alex Sobek. Yeah, it is basically Superman helping the Omega Men fighting off against their enemies in this book. Which, cool. 89 will be the last time we see the classic logo. I've been in the book is issue 1. Because starting with issue 90, this is the logo we have for the remaining 8 issues of this book. So, in issue 90, we have a team with Firestorm and Captain Atom. Now you're thinking, with Firestorm here, you think, oh, does Jerry Conway read this book? Nope, it's Paul Kupperberg with Dennis Cohen on the artwork. This book in particular is just basically, just feels, by the way, the Captain Atom in this issue is, I kid you not, pre-Crisis Captain Atom. This is not the Silver Suit one we see later on. This is the one from the Charlton books. Yes, this may have been like the first time, because basically a lot of this is dealing with like Crisis stuff. Basically a lot of this is like leading up to Crisis, but really cool stuff here. I like this issue. Issue 91 teams up with Captain Comet. So I'm thinking, who? Yeah, he's a 50s sci-fi hero who is... By the way, the book is written by, get this, Craig Boldman. Artwork is done by Kurt Swan and Dave Hunt. So we have regular superheroes here. It is just a mashup of two characters who are way too similar to each other. And this will be Captain Comet's only appearance in this book. The very next book, I actually like this one. Because 92, Superman teams up with the Adrian Chase Vigilante in this issue. This mostly was taking place during the later books of Superman, where instead of being with Lois, he's with Lana. I think it's like New Year's Eve in this issue. It's like, oh, happy New Year's Eve, it's snowing, and of course they're making out. And they stop a guy. Now, this feels like, excuse me, it's written here. It's almost like this is like a standard Vigilante issue, but Superman thrown in. It kind of feels that way. But it definitely feels like mixed in between stuff we see from Superman and the Vigilante comics published at the time. This actually be Adrian Chase's when he was Vigilante. One of his, probably this may have been his sole appearance outside of his own book at this period of time. Yeah, really cool issue. Adrian does not show up to halfway through the issue, where he's like a security guard, but it's just a really cool issue. And it definitely feels like basically something you would see in the Vigilante book published at this point in time. Just overall excellent book. Now, as for issue 93, oh boy, so you have Jimmy Olsen as Elastilad, you have Plastic Man, and you have Elongated Man fighting up against this brand new villain. It's Superman and the Elastic Four. Yeah, let's have a deal with the stretchy characters for an issue. Now, you're probably thinking, does Paul Kupperberg in this issue? Yes, he does, and the book is excellent. The book is so funny. We have these robbers trying to come and hold up the Daily Planet, but they're stopped by Jimmy doesn't do much anything. And then they're wrapped by, of all people, Raph Dibny, which I found to be so hilarious. And it is a fun issue. It's a great team with him and the Elastic Heroes. I think this may have been also when Jimmy Olsen last time he used Elastic powers, because not long after this, the whole thing of him being Elastic would never mention ever again. 94 feels like a prelude to Crisis on Infinite Earths because, get this, so he has a team in this issue with Harbinger, Lady Quark, and Pariah. You're thinking, wait a minute, aren't these guys part of basically Monitor's crew in Crisis Universe? Yes. They say it's a post-Crisis blockbuster, so they're implying this is set after Crisis. I'd say it's probably it. So the book is written by Barbara Randall and Bob Greenberg and Tom Mandrake with the artwork and Don Heck. So this artwork very Tom Mandrake. Yeah, just let's have these three people here show up at the station, do an interview. We have Lady Quark taking one of the reporters out on a date, which I found to be so interesting. It's a very odd issue. But they find a cool villain here. And then for issue 95. Now this was surprising for 95. He teams up with Hawkman, which mostly feels like part of the Shadow War storyline. That's really the whole thing with this issue. It's basically connected to the Shadow War stuff with Hawkman. And it's written by Tony Isabella, who was writing Hawkman at this point. So it is mostly just a story, just deals with the Shadow War stuff that was with Hawkman. Now, as for the penultimate issue, he gets a Blue Devil. Like, wow, really stretched this book out for sure. They had like people characters and team before. Blue Devil probably had just shown up at this point in time. I'm guessing. I wasn't reading the time. I'm guessing. So he probably just showed up. So yeah, let's see the book written by his regular writer, which is not Jerry Conway, by the way. It's this book is written by Dan Mushkin and Gary Colan with Joe Stainton the artwork. A guy who Chuck Dixon really wanted to work when he did Guy Gardner. This just have him basically take on some demon character. Blue Demon is just a guy in a suit, and not much else here per se with this one. The last issue 97. This is set apparently during Crisis. It is mostly just final chapter, the final Famous Zone criminals. It's kind of weird for the last issue of this book just deal with the Famous Zone criminals. Feels like this issue probably should have been published as part of Superman, but it wasn't. It just was put here for some reason, and this is mostly just Clark dealing with people in the Famous Zone. Yeah, that's mostly what it is, and we have the last issue of this book, and here's your writer. Here's the creative team. Steve Gerber, I think this may have been his only issue he wrote for this book, with Rick Veitch and Bob Smith on the artwork. Mostly it's basically what Superman does for the criminals prior to the end of the thing. And then this leads into whatever happens tomorrow. Yes, I'd say we have some good issues and some okay issues per se, but that's the end of DC Comics Presents. Final thoughts on this series. The series is pretty good. I really enjoyed it. I especially really enjoyed the Whatever Happened to feature. Feature a lot of the Golden Age characters who I never heard before. But really cool stuff here. It's interesting though, the second half book is done by Paul. Who is the most frequent reader of this book? Paul Kupperberg. Yes, he probably wrote more issues than anybody else. Yep. So since I just finished these Presents, what's next? Showcase. Yep, I'm doing the original Showcase ongoing series due to the issues I haven't covered yet for that one. Both are on the same length, so I figured why not. And I don't think it'll take me very long to get through it because I've covered some issues already, so yeah. So that's for each particular view. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn notifications, and do hit the like button. Well, I will see you all tomorrow for about 2 more comic corners and a anime reviews. Okay, next video. Bye.